Okay, like on the sideline, can you just like use it as a warm up or something? Okay. Anyway, to recap, this is how the stream strat the sim strat could work. You rotate yourself to become the defender, and they're the attacker. You should do this most of the time with the sim strat, like regardless of every map. But most of the time, sim doesn't really work on street phase because the street phase you can't do map. You can't really do map rotation on the street phase. So you can pull off sim. You have like a lot of leeway on sim, but not on a street phase. So you can pull this off on hybrid map to capture the first point, and then on the first point of assault onto CP. On Hanamura, you can do this as well. I got sidetracked here, but we should be talking about alt economy. Does anybody know what alt economy is? Oh, it's such a fancy word. Like retards. Oh my god.
Actually being aware of, like, not overusing your ults.
Mm.
Using ults with your teammates as well, like Hanzo and Graf.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow bomb.
Oh yeah, Shadow Bomb.
Sure. That's like combo. Yeah, combo. What else? I'm gonna go to Blackboard 1 second.
I was like, I'd kind of describe it as not blasting all your ults at once, and actually like thinking about what ult like needs to be used in a fight, rather than like one that can just be thrown in there and not get any value.
Okay.
Make more ults using other teams.
Yes, and then you try to manage it. Jump to Blackboard. Man, I wish someone would buy me tablets so I don't need to write using a freaking mouse.
I can find my photographer, otherwise I'll just give it away.
I've got a spare one, but it's kind of old and dodgy.
Back then when I was like in... Ah? Really? How dodgy is it? Like how workable is it?
I mean, it works. It's just that the cord, like the connection for the cord is a little bit finicky.
Well, I like free stuff.
I have to find it though first because it will be somewhere and I can't remember where it is.
Okay. No worries. As long as it's like free. I don't want to like pay something, dude. Like back then when I was like in high school, I used to use this band called Bamboo. This brand called Bamboo, and it's really nice, man. It's like
Yeah, I have been.
Bamboo is Wacom. It's all the same company. It's
Mm.
just a different type of one. So like I had a Bamboo tablet, now I've got an Intuos from Wacom.
Okay. Okay, alt economy. Let's just go through the first couple of points first. It's all about managing alts. So what does it mean by managing alts is you would use alts trying to explain in English. So you would use your alts and then you would use it depends on the circumstances whether they have their own alts or you can combo it with your own alts. So it's about alt management. I think that's the best way to summarize it. It's about alt management. But the second one, what I like to put it out as a second point in alt economy is to farming. It's about farming alts. I think I talked about this with Sherry. Yeah, Sherry. So about farming alts. So for those that I haven't mentioned, I haven't like mentioned this before. If you haven't heard it, so Overwatch is different than playing CS:GO. With CS:GO, you shoot with the purpose to kill, but with Overwatch is different. Yes, you shoot people to kill, but you shoot at people as a means to farm your alts, and in order for you to actually win games. Alt is such a really important tool for you to win game, because like how many times that the games are won because of alts, how many times that you're on King's Row first point, but you can't push, but there's a fucking like blizzard, or there's just like a lot of like powerful ults that causes you to lose games, and vice versa. So it's all about farming ults. So you shoot as a way as a means to actually farm ults. So a good habit to do when you're playing is to keep shooting at Mr. Rectangle, and that is Reinhardt. What happens when the shield's broken? That means you can free fire, right? Yeah, you can you can free fire on people. What happens when you can free fire? You get ult charge, and that means that you get ult faster than the enemy ults. That's one thing, and also is I think another thing with ult is that you try to understand when you need to use it once you got it, like with timing and usage. This is really important as well. Timing and usage. A lot of people think that a Reinhardt Earthshatter is used for a team wipe. That's the only use for Reinhardt Earthshatter. That is dead wrong. If you go into the upper echelon of the Overwatch rank now, ult is not only used to win team fight by team wipe. Ult is not being used as a means to team wipe. It's not only that. Ult is being used as a means to counter the enemy ults. Timing usage. It can be used, e.g., to counter enemy ults. So you basically denying their ults. It's like a game of like, I don't know, rock, paper, scissors. So if they use paper, then immediately you use like scissors, and so it's like countering. Example would be, we all know that if you play Sneaker Ryan and then you can you shatter people from behind, there's a team wipe, right? But solo shattering is always worth it against a Blading Genji. Even better if the Genji is nanoed. So you would think that when you just start playing the game, there is no way we can stop a nano Blading Genji. That is absolutely not true. You can stop a nano Blading Genji provided that you use your own ult resources to stop their ult resources to wipe your team. So a Reinhardt Earthshatter is perfect. What else can you do to stop a Blading Genji? Nanoed Blading Genji. What else besides an Earthshatter?
Sleep him. Oh,
That's
but
true.
that's not an
That's
ult.
actually
Yeah.
quite a few science and
Grab.
I mean, if she gains it quick, then like,
But you consider Diva Bomb as a means to stop a Genji from going into a favorable position to team wipe your team.
you see, you can like bomb around your supports, and then that'll like stop him from going near them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say yes. But like, if you're aiming for him and just like flying it at him, then that's a big no.
Yeah, well, if you use ult in the middle of a team fight, bomb, and the Genji just happened to get Nano Blade, well, if the bomb is near your team, because like bomb is means for your team to actually push, right? Like bomb is a cue for your team to push. So the bomb doesn't necessarily means that you need to put the bomb around your team so that the Genji can't go anywhere near you. What if you flip it and say bomb their team, and then you guys push? So when you push, the Genji can't blade you anyway because there's a bomb. It's like you zone them, like a zoning ult. Okay. So timing and usage is really important, but the usage can also be used as a means to sustain a fight. Let's just list a couple of usage for ults. For usage, countering enemy ults. I'm just gonna put countering. Second would be team wipe combo. And what about the last one? There's three use of ults. That's
making space.
that's no, no.
Sustaining your team.
Yes,
Like support ults.
yes, sustaining. Like I was about to say countering's good, but this is like the better word for it. It's about sustaining. So this is the three main usage of ults: countering, team wipe, and sustaining. Yeah. So we talk about the usage of ults, and we're gonna talk about examples of scenarios, like the type of ult that is used for this kind of purposes where people tend to overlook the most underappreciated ult. Okay, give me one ult that is so underappreciated. Give me one. I'm gonna call it right now. Primal Rage.
Oh, that's true.
Primal. A lot of people don't know how to use Primal. Let's just use this as an example. For Primal Rage, there's a couple of things that you can do. Primal Rage. You can sustain yourself, like prevent yourself from dying, or you can initiate a fight. Initiate a fight by using Primal. You can, what else? Sustain yourself. That means it's the same as stalling.
You can make the other than ult.
Force ults. Force enemy to use ults. What else? There's one more thing that I haven't mentioned here, and this is the number one use of Primal Rage that brings the most value.
Distract.
Nope.
Force them into position so they don't want to ban.
What's the opposite of force enemy to use ults?
Denying
So if there's a soldier getting nano visored, a monkey can jump in with Primal Rage and just like body block with his like big ass gorilla body, so that it'll soak every single of the damage being put out. That's the main role of tank. Is that the main role of tank for me is let me soak up all the damage because I'm a sponge, so that my team doesn't have to deal with it. So my team doesn't have to deal with the shit that I'm going through. Let me just like soak up all the damage. Okay? So this is about like denying enemy ults. So this is like all of the ults that you kind of need to understand about the role that you're playing. Like for example, since we got Hanzo ult. Hanzo ult is also underappreciated. Dragon. This is most likely the second most underappreciated ult in the game. It's not like underappreciated, but people don't know how to use it. How do you use Dragon?
Team wipe, zoning.
Team wipe?
Yeah, team wipe. With like comboing and stuff.
Okay.
Zoning as well, like you can split off the team, the enemy team, by the dragon runs through.
Okay. Team wipe, zoning. Can you elaborate more on zoning? What does it mean to zone using a dragon? You can zone using a D.Va Bomb. Example. I'll give you an example of the use of D.Va Bomb that I just talked with Spot. So when you imagine that you're in Icon Vault corner and the third point on attack, you put D.Va Bomb on the corner to the point where people, if they go forward, they get murdered by the bomb. If they go backwards, they get murdered by the bomb as well, because the corners has already been covered by the bomb, by the blast radius of the bomb. That's the zoning of D.Va Bomb. You put them in such an uncomfortable position. What about Dragon? What do you mean zoning with Dragon? What's the whole...
It's like shooting it through the wall and splitting off supports so they can't see or
Okay.
Zoning can be like to get them off the payload, and you like need to reach like 1 or 2 meters on it. I don't know.
Okay. You can zone the point. You can zone the point. That's very good.
I think it's pretty much like 9 with space.
Cut off.
Wasn't into others.
Cut off. Main tank. Main tank denying. You can.
It's cover as well. Like your team can run inside the Huns or Dragons, and that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
That like really obscures your vision.
But covering is like an additional value, but not the main value. Like you can't just be using a dragon solely to cover yourself as a mean to sustain, which is really weird, isn't it? Like you would think that a DPS ult can be used as a means to sustain your team, which is really weird. Like it's like Mars Coalescence. Like if you think about it, like dragon is kind of like more Coalescence, but it's not like an ability where you have to hold it. Yeah. So it's more like it's more you can team wipe if there's a combo. You can only do this if there's a combo. You can't be using dragon as a means to team wipe if there's no combo. What happens if if you're Hanzo in a team but there's no means to team wipe? You got like Ryan Diva example, but Orisa you can still suck. You can still suck someone and then they'll get covered by the dragon, even though that is only by a split second. But if there's nothing, the only way that you can bring value to dragon is by zoning. Zoning and to cut off tank. Let's just go to set pieces here so that you guys know what I'm talking about. The best way to see this is on either in Hanamura or in Dorado. But let's just go to Dorado here. One sec. Exit saving. Okay. Dorado's point is such a bitch. Where's Dorado? Here. It is really a bitch, especially the first point. Okay. Bring the payload over here. Let's say the payload's over here. Okay. Let's say this is Lolly. And let's say they have a Reinhardt. The Reinhardt's holding here. Okay, for the sake of this argument, let's just let them push up for a bit, like this. This is Ryan, and then this is Mercy, and then they got Zen here, like the back line. Zaya will be somewhere over here. Okay, you can dragon this whole thing. You can actually dragon, and it'll be like this. So what you ended up doing is you split them in half. So if the Reinhardt go back, the Reinhardt will die. So the only means of Reinhardt is to go forward. Like Reinhardt can only go forward here. That's the only means. Otherwise, that Reinhardt will die from dragon. That's how you would utilize dragon. But the best way, but not the best way, but like, if you a bit confused when to use dragon, use the point as a landmark. Because everybody's like playing one point. You can use it as a means to split them in half. Okay. Well, the choke is the easiest to use dragon. You usually would dragon across the choke. And Hanamura is perfect if they use the choke really hard in the first point of Hanamura, and then you would dragon horizontally and then aim it across the point, because the point and choke in Hanamura is just straight up, right? Let's use another example. Say they're managed to push it even further. Hanzo's over here. Payload's over here. Reinhardt's over here. Zarya's here. This is Zen. You can you can dragon like yay. You can dragon like this. Split them in half. But in order to do so, it requires your tank to push up. It requires your tank to push up. In order, the problem here is, if the Reinhardt's over here, delete this. If the Reinhardt over here and the Zarya's over here, the Mercy can just Valk over here. She can just went past the dragon and Valk. Easy. Can just get past the dragon easy, and then she'll get pocketed by Zen. The only way for this to work is if your Ryan is contesting. The Mercy can't Valk here. She did. So this is like the only way for dragon to work is you need to coordinate with your tank. So you need to use dragon not as a mean to engage, but as a mean to actually put them in a really uncomfortable spot in the middle of the fight. So this is the kind of ult that you zone, which is another means of ult economy as well. Because ult economy is not only means to actually use ults to combo, but it's a means to actually use ults when you're not in a favorable circumstances to combo it. Yes, if you got Zarya, let's say that your team has Zarya, you don't have to like think about like zoning. You can just like graph them like this, right? You can just like graph them like this, boom, graph dragon, easy. So you must, the reason why we talk like this is because it makes it easier for us to discuss how to use ults when we got nothing to combo in our team composition. Like Sim can't combo with anybody, right? Like how do you combo with Sim? Like ult combo with Sim? Like Sim is kind of like zoning on to the point, but it's not exactly like a combo that you can do. So like you can't combo D.Va Dragon as well. Zarya is just perfect. You can combo D.Va Bomb and Shatter. Like an ult has to be a combination of a stun and a team wipe. Graph Dragon, team wipe, and a stun. Shatter, stun, and a team wipe. So the best way to pull it off, you can't have two stun. You can't have like a blizzard and a shatter. That's two stun. That's just like a waste. So you need to actually pair it with something that complements with each other. Delete this. So if you got nothing to play with, you got nobody to play with, this is how you manage your ult. By playing around to your strength and using it to cut off the engagement like this. It's perfect, right? The Reinhardt can just like contest the other Reinhardt, and let's say that there's no Zarya, and then just imagine that this is actually D.Va. Just go like this. Okay, is there any question, or am I talking sense so far?
Your complete sense to me. I don't know how to make a sense of it. It makes sense to me.
Okay. Any question about alt economy?
Nope.
Very good. Okay, let me just drink first. Okay, so that's why ultimate tracking is really important in this game. Go back to Blackboard. So another thing that's really important when we talk about alt economy is that you can't be discussing about alt economy if you do not do alt tracking. Excuse me. Alt tracking. Yeah, you can't be discussing alt economy. You can't discuss what alt that you're gonna do if you don't know alt tracking. The best way for you to do alt tracking is if someone can start the conversation. That's the best way to do it. If someone can start the conversation about it, and then everybody can follow up. You can't expect yourself to carry the team by by tracking what alts they got when there's 5 other brains in your team. Utilize those 5 other brains to start a conversation. Assume that if I can spell, if I can write, there we go. Assume that the people that you know, like in your team, know something that you don't. So this is the best way to put it. Because what if you track something, you track alts, like you imagine that they have graph, and you missed out on valuable information, maybe that your Farah or your support knows, like, oh yeah, they actually have a dragon too. The Hanzo's been he's been this guy's been Hanzo for a while. He should have dragon by now too. And then the best way to actually start alt tracking is to start a conversation. Okay, what else I got? I think they have blah blah blah, and then what else they have blah blah blah. So this is the best way to actually start a conversation. The best way to actually track alts, easiest. And then after that, then you micromanage. The next thing is micromanage. So micromanage, and then you would make a decision based on that set information. If they have Hanzo Dragon, then your Zen should automatically be using alts for Graph Dragon. So how do you ensure that the Zen can pull off trance by the time they use Graph Dragon? You would protect the Zen. So when you micromanage, you would talk about win condition. So win condition, if you're gonna use alts as a means to counter their alts, you need to ensure that the Zen gets protected. What if they have Tracer? Like, let's say for the sake of our argument, they have Tracer Hanzo. The Tracer will try to dive the Zen and try to deny your team from trancing, and then their team can't do a team wipe. So you need to talk about like win condition as well. Not only you have to talk about micromanaging alts, but you need to ensure that the execution can be done. So the conversation will go like this: what alts they got, they have graph, and then because the conversation's already started, your teammate's gonna say, oh, they have dragon too. And then you micromanage. The second step would be micromanage such as, okay, therefore we're gonna be using trance to counter that. Win condition. The third would be like, okay, we need to protect the Zen. McCree, can you sit close to the Zen and then flash a Tracer? Can you help stick close to the Zen? Okay, this is like the third important step here. If you macromanage but you don't talk about like the win condition to setting your team up for success, the execution is gonna be poor, and it's like it's not gonna work. So basically, this is like the flow of every team fight, of like post fight and pre fight. It should be like this. How you should micromanage. So far, okay? So far makes sense? Okay. We talk about farming alts. Now we're gonna talk about like win conditions on how you can set your team up for success after you micromanage. So visual and audio cues. Lolly, I did play Zen with you, right?
Yes.
You notice what I always do on defense when I play Zen?
There's quite a few things that you do, but I don't know what you're talking about specifically.
Okay. This is what I always do every single time when I play Zen. And I want Sherry to do the same thing. Clear everything. This is what I always do. Every time. Let's say we got an Orisa D.Va here. Orisa, D.Va, blah blah blah. And it doesn't matter. Let's just say we have Orisa D.Va. At the beginning of the fight, what you should do as Zen is get your Omnic ass onto the spawn point of the enemy spawn point. Get your Omnic ass into the spawn point and then crank up your headset into max. You repeat every single hero that you heard from the spawn. Just listen. Just make sure. But if everybody kept talking, tell them to shut up, so you can like focus what you hear. If you hear another Omnic just going boop boop boop, then tell your team they have a Bastion, and then you can act accordingly. The reason why Zen is perfect for this is because Zen doesn't have
Sound.
Steps.
footsteps. Zen doesn't have footsteps. You can't hear Zen because Zen is floating in the air. So this is such a great habit. If you're expecting for visual cues, then you would need to use D.Va. But you can't do that because D.Va can look beyond the spawn point, right? Can't look like all the way to spawn point. But Zen is perfect for this, provided that Zen can get back into his team. Can get back to his team like on time. So just listen to your headset, like what sort of like team comp they have, like what sort of sound they have, like audio cues is really important in this game. Like you should understand which heroes generate the most, like the loudest abilities, especially Shift. Like have you realized that every single hero in this game, Shift is a movement ability. Almost everything.
Risa?
What's that?
Wait. How about Bastion though?
Bastion.
If it's a movement ability, it's not shift. I think that's what it means.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Almost. That's why I said almost everyone. Shift ability is movement ability, and most of people movement ability, like the shift ability, is so audible that you can actually hear it. Like a
Just quick, on this point, you can actually hear when you're attacking in spawn all the people setting up on that high ground anyway. So obviously this is for defense. I should go and poke around spawn, but if we're on attack, everyone can stand in the same corner and hear.
Oh, can you repeat that again, please? Sorry.
So on Dorado on attack, there's a corner kind of near where Zen is at the moment, right on the edge.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Here is that what you mean?
No, I mean when you're on attack. So if you're in spawn waiting
Yeah.
run out,
Yeah.
there's a place where you can stand, and if anyone is on high ground, you can hear them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
generally, that's where I stand anyway. Do you
Yeah.
know about that?
Yeah.
You can also press H, and then you can literally see if they're on the high ground adjacent. Oh, not adjacent, opposite to
Yeah.
spawn.
Yeah, that is good too. But like, if you notice that if the enemy team are so lazy, if they are really lazy, they wouldn't switch the team comp. Like for example, people fuck around at spawn, right? Like you would see people just using Torp and Sim and like Sim and like or like a bunch of like weird heroes, and then they'll switch into the actual team comp. If people are being lazy, you will get advanced intel of what they're running. So this is like a really important habit, especially for Zen. And then after that, just get back get back to your team after that. Get back in here. Easy. So, furthermore, with sound cues, think about like the sort of things that you can pick up enemy position not only with visual but with sound as well. Give me a list of abilities that are that is so loud. They're just really that is really fucking loud.
Boosters and Winston jump for one thing.
Yeah,
Just the ability, because Diva's E is also pretty loud.
like
Teleport from Reaper is also obnoxiously loud. Like, it should
McCree's
be.
footsteps are loud.
Yeah, that's also true.
like shift ability.
That's
Like
fire as well.
mm-mm. Like Diva boost example. What about
Reinhardt's
Oh yes.
Rhine charge? Yeah, Rhine charge is really loud.
I mean, Bastion, you can like kinda. It's a shift ability, and like you can
Yeah.
kinda get when he like moves, but
Ults are really loud.
Alt is really loud.
it's not loud.
Mm-hmm. Alt is loud. You like if McCree is high nooning, it's so loud. Everyone across the map can hear it.
Ana's shift is also, like, Ana's sleep
Mhm.
is also really loud. It's got a very distinct sound as well.
Like psst, like that.
Yeah.
Well, like if you notice that Anna's sleep sounds like a Spider-Man like shooting his web, for some reason. I just noticed it. So yeah, shift ability is really loud. What about other ability that is not shift that is quite loud?
Diva micro missile.
Yeah.
What about Doomfist right click?
Everything from Doomfist is loud, yes.
Rising uppercuts. Yes, especially like Doomfist right click, walking. Walking is really loud. Like, who do you think has the most loudest footstep?
Do you mean out of the DPS or out of the tanks? Because it's the tanks.
Maybe like Ryan.
A non-tank. Give me a non-tank that is so loud. McCree. He's all like tuk 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 tuk. This is really loud, dude. I swear, McCree sounds, yeah, like Bastion. Yeah, Bastion's loud. It's just like it doesn't have it to be time.
Footsteps a lot.
Like cluck, 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 cluck. So what would you do if you pick up that sound cue? You would tell people, right? Even the problem with people is that a lot of people think that they can only transmit information solely based on visual cues. Even if you heard something, say something.
It's like when we were playing Paris and I heard footsteps and I got scared.
Yeah, I heard Farah.
Trosa.
It was a Tracer's footsteps and I heard it. And
She was hiding in the corner.
You must have a really good headset if you manage to pick up Tracer's footsteps.
I can hear
She
everything.
was like right next to the room, to be fair, but.
The little my headset is fun.
So yeah, so my point being is that all these audible footsteps is a really intel for you to is a really important intel for you to actually share it with your team. Even as small as a footstep, you would actually tell it. Like example would be, I heard Tracer blinking. And then your friendly Diva can actually help investigate. Diva is such a perfect hero to investigate everything, like chase up everything, or if there's a back line, if there's front line, like helping front line is like everything. Like do not ever send your Zen to investigate; he'll get stabbed.
No, you always do that.
So footsteps. So how do we? What about you're on the opposing end? What if you're the one to actually create this footstep? Try to, if you're the one that wants to sneak up on people, try to minimize this. You can crouch. I talked about Farah with Lolly earlier. Flala, bleh. Ugh. Farah's jump jet is audible, like really so fucking audible, like you can hear it like easily. It's just like that. So you can minimize this by actually going to high ground and then jumping on people by using space, like hovering, and then press Q in the play of the game. But yes, try to be more mindful of how much noise that you're making. If you can pick up other people's noise, so can they. So can them. So it's like saying, "Oh, my team's tilted." Well, so are they on ladder. So it's practically a balance game. So try to be mindful with your footstep as well if you're playing a non-tank. If you play well, if you're going for a sneaky shatter, then try to press crouch. So that's sound cues. We talk for visual cues is self-explanatory. For visual cues, it's really the same thing. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something as well. I'm actually gonna put that. If you see, hear something, say something. I think this is like a government poster or something, like on the train track, where if there's like make sense? Okay, cool. I think we can talk about set pieces now. Give me a map. Any map. Give me
Numbani. Yes, Numbani.
money.
Numbani.
Numbani, best map.
No money. Yayo yi. Walalai. Okay. Numbani's, like, if you notice, every single payload map, the second point is always the trickiest to defend. Not to attack, but to defend. Because the second point is the street phase. There is... What do the first and third point has in common?
High ground? Wait, on this map?
Okay, I'll rephrase. What do the second point of every single payload map that are lacking in terms of map aesthetic? You might find this on the third point, you might find this on first. It certainly doesn't apply with every map, but second point with every map, there's nothing. This
I
one.
feel like it's straight line, like side lines. Like there's always a lot of corners in the second point of streets, especially like if you think of like Kings Row, it goes from being able to see them at spawn to being around corners. Like I was watching Al and they got stuck on a corner.
Yeah, it's always like corners, but it's more like there's no like a crazy choke on the second point. Most of the time, there's no crazy choke. So if you don't run a bunker comp on street face, is really hard because there's so many angles that the attacker can exploit. There's so many angles, there's so many corners, there's many elevation on street face. Most of the time. But the difference with the Kings Row is that Kings Row is such a condensed map. That's why people stuck in the corner. Because it's condensed. That's why there's no choke, but there is corner. So you might want to play around corner on horizontal map like Kings Row. But on a vertical map like Numbani, it's much more advisable to play dive because you want to exploit the high ground. But because it happens that this meta is goats, Therefore, people play goats. See, in my previous team, when I was coaching this Indo team, I implemented the pairing system, and in terms of map, I divided the maps into a couple of different categories. I categorize this map categories. The reason why I categorize map is to help teams come up with team comp across different map. Once you categorize map into three, at least three, there's 3 types of maps that we can categorize. You can actually cross-pollinate team comp on the same category. So the first category of team comp, the first category of map, you can run this a similar or even the same team comp. It's the same as the second map and the third category of map. I'll show you. The first map category is, let's do the easiest first. Horizontal. Give me maps that are horizontal. Horizontal is map that is condensed. King's Row, yeah. Would you think that Rialto's condensed? Condensed mean map that doesn't have a really important high ground that you can exploit.
Oh, okay, Rialto.
Rialto is quite condensed. There's not a lot of high ground. Okay, think about Rialto's second point. Where's the high ground? Practically none. There's no high ground on Rialto, especially halfway through the second point. There's practically nothing. Like, there is perch, but it's not like a really important high ground. Yeah, there is perch, but it's even King's Row has perch. But it's like a map where there's only so few high ground. The high ground is so few. That
Road is kind of like that second point, but definitely third. Like, people just intend to go on the high ground that often, unless they're like a McCree looking for a high noon or something.
You see, control the high ground on that map, I feel like is kind of important as well.
you would put, what about control points? Which control point? Yeah, which control?
Is that the high ground?
That is assault.
So,
Yeah. Okay, fine. Paris first.
sorry.
What'd you say? Nepal where?
Like Sanctum, and then there's but that like little
And Shrine.
like and Shrine. Oh,
Shrine is horizontal. Where's the high ground in Shrine?
To the left, and it's really awkward.
That is awkward. You try playing soldier on Shrine, and good luck shooting people from the high ground position near the actual shrine. That call out is called Shrine. The first, the main one is point, and then the far one that has a health pack is I call it elephant or statue. So try shooting on high ground on with soldier on that point. Good luck. Good luck with it. It's hard. Vertical. One more.
one more.
University.
Oh, that's true.
Or vertical. Let's start with control first. You would think that city center is vertical because the high ground is quite important. City center.
Maybe Busan downtown, because like that's got a lot of high ground with the widow and stuff. Like Ishtra.
Yep.
Same with,
Downtown.
and like, ruins. There we go.
Oh yeah, that one.
When I was looking.
Ruins is such a prime example. Very good. Ruins. Basically, with vertical is the kind of map where the high ground is such an important. It's like there's not a lot of cover, and there's a lot of sideline. There's like an open sideline. So vertical is open sideline. Open sideline. Open sideline. Several high ground.
That
That.
would include Wash Point as well, right? And one.
Oh my god, I love Gibraltar.
It's like the best map.
I love Gibraltar because it's such a Winston map.
I like Gibraltar because it's a diva map.
Yeah,
I like
Gibraltar.
just because we haven't played it that much recently.
Back when like Gibraltar was played a lot like a while back.
But it's just because we've been doing a different map pool, and now it's back in the map pool, and it's like yes.
Alright, last one. Niche. What would you consider a map that can be categorized as a niche map?
Maybe like a bit of both. I don't know.
Okay.
No, this is Sanctum where like groups happen.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, okay.
These are Lucio maps.
This are map.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. This niche is a map where it doesn't fall into horizontal, it doesn't fall into vertical. What does that mean is a map that there is no okay, let's just put closed sightline here. Closed sightline. A few high ground. Okay, for niche map is there is very few high ground, but it's an open area with few high ground. We know the vertical map is open, right? Like ruins. City center is open. It's open, but there's few high ground. You can put it as niche. So Sanctum, well, there's one more map that can be categorized as niche. It's so open, and there's very few high ground. You don't even need movement ability to contest the high ground.
Is it? It's not village, is it?
No.
um,
You want to put village? Go ahead. Fine.
Is it? I don't know.
The reason why we put village is the nature of the point. The nature of the point just happens that is the space of the point is the same size as a Maywall, and most of the maps, so most of the engagement are done like within the point itself, but then it's close quarters. You can put village, but basically niche is also means that you can put team composition that doesn't necessarily fall on horizontal, doesn't necessarily fall on vertical. One more. Give me one more. I'll give you a hint.
Anubis?
It's a payload map. Anubis is vertical.
Junkertown?
Yes!
Oh, actually the best.
Yes! Junkertown is niche. There's no high ground on the first point. Literally none. Like non-existent. You can actually contest the high ground without any movement ability at all. You can just walk and contest Widow. You don't even need Monkey to contest Widow. You can just like walk there and the Widow's contested. You can even use Tracer to contest the Widow there. Okay, like with example on vertical map, it's really hard to contest the Widow on the far end corner. It's really hard. The Tracer will need to walk all the way, like walk all the way to contest the Widow. It like requires movement ability. But Junkertown is that map. Junkertown is the map where Orisa shines. Do you know why Orisa shines more on the first point than Reinhardt?
Okay, she can shoot at people on the high ground while moving forward without actually having to move. So, like, she
same thing. First man.
I don't know, because I got attack, you'd run like a bastion.
No, it's the same thing. But not only that. That is correct.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. One more. What's the nature of Ursa Shield compared to Reinhardt?
Moving,
Mm,
but not. It's
I mean, it's on a cooldown.
it's replenish shield. A shield that can be replenished. What does Reinhardt need to do when his shield is busted?
Put it
Puts it
down.
down.
swing and die like an idiot.
Find cover. There is literally zero cover once you pass that choke. Like non-existent. That's why Reinhardt is really hard to play Reinhardt on that map because of the because Reinhardt utilizes on cover. When you play Rein, you always have to play on cover, always, because this is called shield management. If you play Reinhardt, you have to manage your shield that it doesn't get wasted when everybody's stabilized. When your team stabilized and their team stabilized, you don't want to like waste your shield because by the time that the engagement is happening, you can't maximize your shield value because it's already wasted previously. But you can't do that with Reinhardt on this map because there's not a lot of cover. So this is how you categorize the map. Okay. Would you think that a team comp in City Center works well in team comp in Gibraltar?
No. Wait. I forgot what map it is. Okay, it's the
Vertical.
Point Gibraltar's
Yeah.
really well, yeah.
So the team comp that you would run on Gibraltar works this well as well with map in City Center and downtown. It's like this. Ruins, because of the huge long ass sidelines there.
No.
No. Why is that? Is this GM that's talking?
No, it's Ashtray.
Asher's here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, hi. Well, City Centre compared to, what was it, Ruins? Ruins has long sightlines, so you'd be running a Widow.
Okay.
And City Centre, it's got very little sightlines, so you wouldn't.
Okay. Let's talk about the tank selection here, because you can pick a different DPS or different support across all these different maps, but the tank selection usually kind of dictates what the rest of the team is going to be playing, because tank's the one that makes the space. Because usually you want to play on City Center. Would you consider that City Center a good map for Reinhardt?
I mean, they can go on the high ground. Depends what you're holding.
Okay, let's do a set pieces then, so I can show you better. Let's do what's that map called? Oasis. Where's Oasis? Where is City Center? This one, yeah. What is this map called? Garden.
Gardens, yeah.
Gardens. Okay. Oh, fuck, I hate this map. Okay. Yeah. You know what the pro scene call these? They call it dildo. I'm serious. Like that's what everybody in the pro scene called it. Diva contest dildo. Like seriously, even like in the contender scene, everybody says this is dildo for some random ass reason. Anyway, that's not the point. Okay, let's say you play Rein. Let's say you play Rein here. How the f are you gonna put your triangle on Reinhardt on this map. The only way for you to actually put the Reinhardt, because see, the thing about Reinhardt is, if I can get this pen to work, Reinhardt's rectangle is rectangle, no shit Sherlock. But the thing is, Reinhardt's triangle only works. Why is it shaped like that? It's shaped like this, triangle, right? In order for Reinhardt's shield to actually work, you need to be in a position where there's only one sight line, like EA. You can maximize this with Rein shield if there's only one way for people to shoot at you. If let's say that let's say it's like this. There's only one way people can shoot, which is this, which is over here. This is where you can maximize Rein shield. A Winston and D.Va cannot contest indoors. Why? Go. Why? Yeah. Why do you think? Let's say there's a really important annoying ass McCree here or something, like some random ass McCree just shows up over here. Why do you think a Winston and D.Va cannot contest indoors? This is really simple. Anything that like the Winston D.Va can't use movement ability to escape. The movement ability should be used as a means to as a tool offensively or defensively. You need to use it like as a means to escape if you're in danger. That's the purpose of shift. But over here on close quarters, let's say this is a choke because we just happen to be in Oasis. I don't like it, but it just happened that we're in Oasis. Let's say that Reinhardt's going here, and then the shields like this. There's only one sideline. There's only one means to actually shoot the Reinhardt. It's actually this way. There's no other angles to shoot the Reinhardt. That's how you bring value with Reinhardt. That's why Reinhardt shines on King's Row, because there's only one angle to shoot at the Reinhardt. There's only one angle. Whereas over here, there's so many angles to shoot at the people behind the Reinhardt shield. Let's say the shield's over here. Motherfucker. Okay. What if the enemy is Widow here? And you got like Zen sitting over here. The enemy Widow, yeah. The Zen's gonna get fetus deletus, even though there's a shield sitting behind the Zen, because there's another angle to shoot at the backline besides the Reinhardt shield. That's why Reinhardt, even if there's goats, it's Winston goats that's being played instead of a Rein goats, because there's like little to no value on the Reinhardt goats, because there's another angle that you can exploit because of the amount of high ground in this map, and because how little cover that you can use on this map. Even if the Reinhardt decided to go, yeah, I'm gonna hug dildo over here, and then shields like this, it doesn't stop for a Tracer, motherfucker, for a Tracer to actually go backline over here. Whereas as Winston, a mobile hero can be anywhere at once. A Reinhardt's slow, Reinhardt's fat. Reinhardt can exactly go around here and there, whereas a Winston can. So that's my point exactly of categorizing maps, so that it builds around the tank. I'm sorry, I'm a bit biased because I'm a tank player, but the reason why we categorize map is that we are able to have a tank selection. We can choose the tank first, and then the others would complement. That's why, like, every single time that you play a map, you go on a map, always pick the tank first. The tank has to be the first person to pick first, not the supports, not the DPS. It's the tank. So because the tank is the one that creates the space, because, like, for example, if if a tank goes Winston on a vertical map, then it's really hard to pull off a Moira in that map, or it's hard to pull off a Baptiste in that map as well, because Baptiste plays around angles, and Baptiste plays it doesn't necessarily plays around a heavy dive with Winston Tracer like that, because it requires quick movement, and Baptiste is slow. Baptiste doesn't have a CC. Baptiste is not quick, so Baptiste requires like a pinpoint, sharp, one-dimensional angle. Example. That's why a tank, the two tanks need to pick first, and then the rest of the team would follow suit. But before the tank can pick first, it depends on the map. Example, on King's Row, it's much more beneficial for you to play Reinhardt, because there's only one way to for you to, like example, like on King's Row, there's not a lot of high ground. That's one. And two, with Reinhardt shield, there's only one way for you for people to actually shoot at the team. Where's King's Row? Bottom here. I category oppression cannot be reversed. Override. It's weird. And it crashed. Motherfucker. Okay, the whole point is it helps you to actually pick tank. Like the tank selection. Where's Reinhardt? Here. Oh, wait, that's not it. Here is better. Like I said, the Reinhardt pass choke. There's only one angle. That's how Reinhardt shines over here. By default, you should be looking at the angle of the map, the aesthetic of the map, and then you choose a tank and everybody would follow suit. And then automatically you would run Zarya, because it's a horizontal map. Why is it on red? Yeah, it's a horizontal map. It's such a close condensed map that you would pick the tank first, and then everybody would follow. Because tank is like the backbone of the team. If tank is the backbone of the team, then support is the legs of the team. So like the backbone of the team could fall if there's no legs to support it. This is how you would categorize map. Now let's go to niche map. What sort of niche map that we just talked about earlier? Junkertown. Do you want Junkertown first to be discussed, or do you want to talk about Sanctum?
I'd rather talk about Well and Sanctum.
You want and Sanctum first.
Sanctum, I mean, probably not Well as much because Ilias isn't on the map pool, but maybe Sanctum and Junkertown, I'd say.
Okay, let's go to Sanctum first.
I know we tend to struggle on Sanctum a lot.
Okay. Okay, so this point right here is called bridge. This point right here is called point. This point right here, just call it mega, because we don't give a shit about the mega over here. Like in front of spawn, we don't give a shit about that. Like like the mega the side of the point. I don't know the exact call out. Like I should have done more research on this, like the exact call out. I would just call it like yeah, the mega room. You can say that. Yeah, you can say mega room.
I've heard someone call the underneath bit horseshoe. You could call that above horseshoe if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can say that too. But this map is really good for Orisa. Why? Because Orisa can suck. Orisa can suck over here. We're gonna talk about like important points and angles of the map, and then we're gonna delve into what sort of team comp that is best on every single map. Not every single map. After patch, what sort of comm is recommended for you to run after patch? But let's just talk about the angle. What sort of rotation that you need to do when you move in first? You should be always engaged on bridge. Why bridge? Because bridge is the one that has access to point. If you engage over here, you have zero access to point. This is like such a secluded area that is unproductive. You should be playing around the point. That's why, therefore, we can conclude that you should be heading over here as Orisa example. And then the first heat should be on the catwalk, on the bridge, like here. This is where you should be putting your resources at, and try to get at least one pick. Okay, once you get one pick, then you need to do a quick rotation over here on the point. Then you need to put your shield at a way that you minimize yourself from getting shot at. So that's where you need to put your shield up at the first of the engagement. What happens after you get the point? After you get your point, what a lot of people tend to do is they tend to move up over here. They tend to move up and try to win engagement by putting over here. This way, you're denying them going over to bridge, because a lot of people, especially usually Zen is being put over here. Usually Anna's being posed over here. This is like the sweet spot for Zen and Anna. Soldier usually goes up over here. Why? Because Soldier on attack while capturing point can basically just free firing the point, and it's a closer distance to the point. So here is the sweet spot for Soldier, and then you're basically denying them from ever going here. So you stop them from like going over to bridge. That's the reason why you need to push up. Basically, this is the angle that you need to do. This is like the sweet angle. If they're pushing, don't go over here. Why? Why can't you go over here?
Because you're like, you might have a chance of getting boots.
That is correct. However, that's not the point.
Okay.
What if they have a McCree? They can just like shoot you from another angle over here. Like that's the angle. You need to play. You need to. A game sense is all about like being aware of which angle that you can get shot at. So here's an example of tunnel vision. This is a prime example of tunnel vision. Let's say they have Orisa, yeah? They have an Orisa too. They have like Orisa Hawk too. So the Orisa would be here, and then they would be putting shield like this. Yeah, they put the shield like this, and then tunnel vision is when your Orisa only aware that the only immediate threat is the other Orisa. That is tunnel vision. The only threat that you're being contested right now is their Orisa. Like, because you basically seclude yourself like this. Yep, that Orisa is the only immediate threat. That is tunnel vision. Being aware of your surrounding means that you have a really good game sense. Being like have a really good game sense means that you're aware that McCree can have can be an immediate threat as well. So what would you do? You would minimize the risk. You would manage your risk by closing every possible threat That's how game sense works. How game sense works is you are aware, you list every single threat in your brain, and then you create a risk management in your brain in order to like minimize risk. But before you do that, you need to create a list of, okay, how many things can kill me right now? That is game sense. How many things can kill me? If the only thing that can kill me is that Orisa, that means I have tunnel vision. So how you do? Put your shield over here and create an angle where it's hard for them to kill you because you play around a cover. This is like the angle where you should be at. What happens if they push up? And after this they would push up. They would push up over here. Yeah? They have to contest regardless. And then they would push up over here. What happens if the Orisa's over here? It allows the soldier to free fire on this angle. What if they have a retarded Ana for some reason going over... let's not use Ana. Let's just use Lucio, for example. Let's say they're running Lucio Mora like over here. And that's their backline. The Hog's over here. It allows your soldier to free fire. But what if you push over here, can the soldier free fire? Because your position's over here. You basically a tank is like you're putting someone at arm's length. If you a tank dictates where the enemy position themselves. So the whole purpose of where you position yourself is to dictate where the enemy position themselves. So if the Orisa's over here, the McCree can free fire at the Orisa, and then the soldier has no clear sight line of their supports. But if you go back over here, it forces them to be in a position where they expose themselves, like EA. So to recap, what you need to do is let's just make a new sequence here. I'm gonna delete every frame. Here's a list of heat maps that you need to dominate. Not dominate, well, like where you need to position yourself. Here and here. You need to control this. This section, it's yours. You have to control this section, like an L section here. And the movement is the movement of the rotation is what I just mentioned to you. Is there any question, or does it make sense, or am I talking like?
Makes sense. No, that's the thing. I'm just grating some cheese.
What cheese?
I'm wondering how long it's going for. I'm starting to lose focus. Maybe we should have breaks or something.
Yeah, go have like what?
Like long coaching sessions.
Okay, go like break for like 10 minutes. What time is scrim, by the way?
It's not happening anymore because about an hour ago said, "Oh, sorry, my team's not gonna come." And I'm like, "Oh, why not? Like, book the scrim with me."
Okay, how about this? Go have a break for about until 7:15, and then we'll do a composition of what you can run, because so far the thing that I'm seeing is that you kind of leg it in terms of like composition. What am I running? What are we running? That kind of thing. How about this? How about I'll give you a list of team comp and you just run that. So this is like a guideline, like a base of what you should do. Like by default, this is what you should be running, and it's based on a current patch, because a team comp that you're confident on right now, it gives you confidence, and it also helps you with your communication, because yeah, we're so used to running the team comm. This is our comfortable pick. So come back at 7:15, and for 15 minutes we'll talk team comm, and by 7:40 we'll jump on comp, and I can finally have dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
See you in like 15-ish.
Mm.